most all of my old stuff to add to his collection.
Is a Beatles cover song aficionado community out there?
Oh, yes, and he puts out a book every 5 years that lists his collection. It lists every song alphabetically, and then every person he could find who has recorded that song.
That is really crazy.
Oh, it is an awesome book to have, and I'm proud that I'm in that book. In a few places, the bands I was in recorded a few Beatles songs.
So you are a contributor as well as a collector. You have contributed stuff.
Not a very good one, but a contributor nonetheless.
That's all that matters is the passion behind it. Now, Now, did you ever hear of? I'm wondering, did you ever hear of Mom, the underground cassette distribution person that was around probably early to mid '90s?
Not that I can recall.
Because I remember their sheets had a lot of Beatles cover song cassettes, and I'm wondering if you remember trading with someone that would put it on their list, where you could trade them a tape and they'd send you a tape, that kind of thing, and they'd have a huge list that they would send out if you sent them postage.
Yep, I've traded with quite a few people. That particular name doesn't sound familiar.
Now, when did you, so you started out with requesting Beatles stuff in magazines through classifieds, and when did you start recording stuff with your own band? Not necessarily Beatles covers, but original material.
Actually, way back like in 1977, I was in a garage band, and we wrote our own songs and recorded our own music.
You ever release anything?
No, just a few underground things here and there, a few minor releases, a couple of bootleg CDs and things like that.
What would you sing about?
Oh, rock and roll.
Those kind of topics, rock and roll topics.
Yep.
Okay, we got a caller here. They said they want to ask you a question. You're on the radio with Greg Stromberg. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I think he dropped off. He's not there anymore. 687-3515. You have a question for him. So you started out playing in bands in the 70s, rock and roll style garage. What style of music do you prefer? Because this tape you sent me called EMB Susnara Stromberg.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the tape I have. It's very different styles than just straight up rock and roll styles from the 70s.
Yeah, that's the more experimental kind of music. It has a couple of rock and roll tunes on it, but it has a lot of very experimental sounds.
Has a few country-sounding songs on there, if I remember right.
Yeah, and there's, we did a jam. Dan came from Chicago down here to Missouri, and we recorded a few songs just for fun, and I used those as filler in between the songs that he's released on his own label.
Yeah, I was listening to this tape in my car, and I was pretty impressed by it because I didn't have to take it out or fast forward it. Just I listened to both sides driving around in it, and I appreciated your sense of creativity on this.
Yes, I believe I wrote most of the words on it, and then Dan Susnara, he has his own recording studio, and that would be Mumble Music, if anyone wants to search for that on the internet.
What is that? Is that a website? Does he have a website or what?
It's a 9on Bally at Comcast.com.
I don't know what a 9on Bally means.
Okay, well, he's in a band that's called 9on Bally.
Okay.
But this just happened to be some of his solo work.
So this is a very diverse-sounding tape, this Susnara Stromberg. It's like a joint effort. You're doing the words and he's doing the music, or what?
Pretty much, yeah.
So that goes, what style of music do you prefer now at this point in your life?
I'm still a big Beatles fan, old David Bowie stuff, King Crimson, and yes, that kind of music.
Have you ever made any money off your efforts?
No, not really. It's mostly just for fun, and I've met a lot of really great people, and it's been a lot of fun.
Who did you collaborate first with on projects? Not bands, but like this cassette project that I'm going to play after interview with you is over. The Susnara Stromberg EMB tape. What was there?
Uh, Dan Susnara was right up there within the first couple of years after I started the project. Some of the few people I haven't heard from in like 10 or 20 years or more that was on the very beginning.
What recording
But
equipment do you utilize?
um, back then it was just anything we could find to use.
How about now?
Somebody's stereo. Right now, uh, mostly friends of mine, like Dan Susnara, has his own recording studios. So sometimes he'll have me record something, and then he'll do overdubs and whatever he has to do to the vocals.
Are you a Beatles trivia buff? Like, could you answer obscure questions about them, or is it just strictly the music?
I've read a lot of books about the Beatles, too, yeah.
687-3515-216. In front of that, we're talking to Greg Stromberg out of, you want to tell us what city you're out of again?
Doniphan, Missouri.
He's calling long distance tonight. What time is it there?
It is just about 1:45 or so.
Okay, it's 1:53 here. So
Okay.
I'm glad it's earlier there. It's better for you. You don't
Yep.
have to stay up at odd hours of the morning talking
I'm
college
glad to
radio
be here.
stations. 687-3515 is the telephone number again if you have any questions. And I was wondering, what are your top 3 versions of Beatles songs that you've ever heard?
I like Ted Nugent doing I Want to Tell You. I think that's a great version.
Which record's that from?
I could not tell you offhand.
The Nuge.
Yep. And, oh, geez. My favorite ones, besides that one, well, I like the Joe Cocker with a little help from my friends. And, I saw the Sgt. Pepper's movie when it came out way back in '78, so I always had a fondness for the songs on that album, too.
Have you heard David Peel's Little Help from My Friends?
Possibly on a bootleg. I can't really recall it right now.
Let's see here. So what recording equipment do you use now? You said you used some primitive